Welcome back to Sports Memos Betting Podcast, NFL every game on the board with our next guest up, Teddy Covers. Teddy, welcome in. How you doing?
Hey Drew, how are you today, buddy? Good to you're off location. I'm so used to having you here in Vegas, but we leave town over the holidays. It's a whole new venue behind you, man.
It is, man. I'm down here in Florida, a little place called Melbourne, little surfer town in the state of Florida. And I'll tell you, Teddy, I just talked to Minty, and she said it's not nice weather in Las Vegas, is it?
No, it's freezing, dude. The high, like for the next week, it's not supposed to get to 50 degrees as a daytime high. It's going to be cold all week, and every night it's freezing or below freezing. It's not, I moved from Michigan specifically to avoid this type of stuff, but it's one of those weeks where you just got to deal with it.
Absolutely, man. I love living in Vegas, but I will say that the downfall is don't let anybody tell you it doesn't get cold in the desert, because it does.
Yeah. And then, of course, you haven't been here for a full summer yet. There's another downfall to living in Vegas, and it comes June, July, and August. So that being said, I'm never moving. I mean, I can't imagine living anywhere else. There's nothing that's calling me somewhere else in the country or in the world that I got to go live there. I've been in Vegas 22 years. I'm pretty well stuck here now.
It's a great place to live. Good food, good people, too. And obviously very entertaining. One of, if not the most entertaining cities in the world. But Teddy, people clicked on the link to try to get some winners on the NFL. Every Game on the Board podcast, each and every Thursday or Friday, depending on the week. But we'll finish off the back half here. We're going 115-116 Philadelphia to the New York Giants. The Philadelphia versus the New York Football Giants. And then the last game will be 131-132 Oakland and Denver. So let's get at it. NFC East matchup here. We got the Philadelphia Eagles -4 on the road in MetLife against the New York Giants. Seeing 45 is the total here, Teddy.
Look, week 17 is not an easy week. All right. And Minty probably said that about 5 different times on the pod. It's not. And I'm not going to try to blow smoke up anyone's ass. Oh, this is a great bet. This is a crappy bet. There are a handful of games that I've done a fair bit of work on. A lot of these games I haven't done a ton of work on. This is one where I did some work on and actually got a bet down. And I considered another one. But I bet the Eagles Giants over. And I really am considering, I haven't pulled the trigger, and I missed the best of the numbers, so I don't know that I get there. But I definitely lean Giants plus the points as well. I do not see the Eagles winning this game easily. Let me start with the total first. Daniel Jones versus Eli Manning, the drop-off is when Eli takes over behind center. Jones can chuck the football downfield the way Eli can, and we saw it last week. We saw it when he was starting earlier in the season. Jones is the deep arm, Eli's the dink and dunker. So when Jones in the game, it correlates towards over. All right, Jones also makes mistakes, which generally correlates towards overs. The Eagles' defense, sharp home road dichotomy. And I've seen it with my eyes. I'm like, what's going on with this? Philly, by the way, put another one of their starting cornerbacks on IR this week, Darby, which leaves them even more shorthanded in the secondary. But it's a defense that they haven't given up more than 17 points at home in any game since September. On the road, they've given up 27 points 5 times in 7 games. And I've seen very mediocre offenses move the football against Philadelphia. So I think the Giants are going to get theirs in this game. And we've seen enough. I talked about the character of Carson Wentz last week and all that. I've seen enough from Philadelphia. That team can manufacture points. They can find a way. And the Giants' defense is no good. A loser in this game gets in the 20s. I think the Giants and Eagles goes over the total. And, again, I'm tempted by the G-Men plus the points. Let's not forget what Philly getting this far. Each of the last 3 games has been down to the wire, nail-biter affairs. The Giants, they had to beat them in overtime. The Redskins came down to the final possession last week against Dallas, which was an intense, physical, let's put everything into it game. I worry about Philly winning this one by margin. I worry about Philly winning this game at all. I like the Giants. I like the over. So this is one that I have, 2 legitimate opinions on. And the next game we're going to talk about, I can't even give an opinion on because that's my big ticket this week.
Okay. Well, Teddy, I know great start there, man. Philadelphia, New York Football Giants. We got great analysis and the side that you're liking in this one and got a bet down. And plus the fact Eli, a dink and dunker. I like that little statement there, man. I think that might fly. And it obviously has some meaning as well. So Pittsburgh, Baltimore, check out sportsmemo.com. You can get anything there. Bowl games. We got daily plays up and Teddy's 5% big ticket up and available on the Pittsburgh Baltimore game. So check it out, sportsmemo.com. We got 119, 120. We'll hit next, Teddy. New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills AFC East matchup here. Low total, just 36.5, and a pick 'em or -1 for the Bills at home.
So this is a situation for Buffalo where it appears as if Sean McDermott's sitting everyone he can possibly sit. So in terms of showing up for weeks, and again, the Bills locked into everything. There's nothing they can gain with the win. They're the ultimate, this is the ultimate meaningless Week 17 game for Buffalo. I don't know how many people remember back to Week 1. I do. The Jets and the Bills, they had them beat. They had Buffalo, they dominated the game for 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, Josh Allen got hot and rallied, carried him to 2 touchdowns, and the Bills came back and stole that game. I think they won 17-16 by a single point. Jets were talking about it. They remember it. Jets are coming to play. Jets won last week. I would not be surprised at all to see the Jets win this game. And if I had to play it, it would be Jets before. I mean, this isn't a situation for the Bills. Some of these teams where they're looking for a bye, and you say, all right, well, I'm going to play the starters here so I can get the bye next week and they'll get their chance to rest. This is Buffalo that has to go on the road next week to play a playoff game. There's no bye in play for the Bills. I'm not anticipating their best effort, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jets beat them at all. And the point spread's telling you that, obviously, with the number as low as it is. Total-wise, you can certainly understand why we're looking at, 36.5, 36s. Worth noting weather report for Buffalo on Sunday. And, these are, by the way, the Giants-Eagles is supposed to be warm, temperatures in the 40s, no wind, no conditions whatsoever for that. But Buffalo and the Jets, again, we're looking at 40 degrees, not really anything to worry about in terms of wind or weather. So it's not going to be one of these frigid days in Buffalo, which I think bodes well for the Jets' chances of pulling off the minor upset. If I had to play that one, it'd be Jets plus before I laid anything with. I can't lay anything with Buffalo. I think this is a true no-show game for the Bills.
Good stuff, Teddy. And guys, special coupon code for this podcast, Teddy25. That's TEDDY 25 at checkout for 25% off. Any Teddy covers play, any of his full packages is 1 year all access. We'll keep this active and through New Year's Eve. Teddy25 takes 25% off anything at sportsmemo.com. We'll open it up to other handicappers as well, but the coupon code is Teddy25 for 25% off. And don't forget his 5% big ticket on a game we skipped over just 2 ago. We got Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots up next, Teddy. Patriots -16, -16.5. Important note here, this one in Foxborough, not Miami. If it was in Miami, Teddy, I might circle the Dolphins here because Tom Brady has had trouble in Hard Rock Stadium. But 44.5 the total here. Pats -16.5 at home here, Teddy.
So one thing that I've learned the hard way is you don't bet against New England Week 16 or Week 17 in game number 16. And the numbers clearly show it. Last year against the Jets, 38-3, they're -14 in that game. The year before, they're -16, it's 26-6. The year before, they're -17, it's 41-3. Oh, sorry, that was Week 16. Week 17, they were 35-14. And you can go on and on down the line. The last game in Foxborough, they've done pretty well over the years. And, of course, New England still has something to play for. And from all indications, the quotes coming out of New England were, this is a playoff game for us. Because obviously they're looking to clinch a bye week. And if they lose this game, that will force them to play another game. They won't get a bye. They're like, this is where, we're playing this for a week off. So the impression I got reading the quotes from the Patriots is that they are coming to play. In New England's A game, obviously the Patriots haven't been as good this year as they've been in recent seasons on the offensive side of the football. That being said, they figured some stuff out the last couple of weeks. And Miami, for all this, I'll give the Dolphins, and I'll give Brian Flores a lot of credit. But honestly, Fitzpatrick took this team and he took them under their wing, and they've really responded to him in a lot of different ways. And a team that could have really gone through the motions. They played hard every week. We haven't seen, you talked about if they were at home, you'd really take a shot with them here. I worry about that effort in week 17. I worry about the fact they're coming off a nice feel-good win at home and now going to play. And again, the weather in Foxborough, it's not ridiculous. It's supposed to be sunny, no wind, temperatures around 40 degrees, so it's nothing bad, considering what it could be in Foxborough at this time of year. But this is a game I have no interest in stepping in front of New England. And again, that Week 17 track record for Belichick stands out to me. He takes these games seriously, and all the quotes in the locker room would take these games seriously. Now, Miami literally hasn't lost a game by more than 17 points. They one lost to the Jets. They lost by 16 to the Giants, by 70 to the Browns, by 70 to the Bills, by 13 to the Steelers, by 10 to the Bills, by 1 to the Redskins. Since the first 4 games of the season, they haven't lost a game where they've been completely blown out after getting blown out each of the first 4 weeks. So they've hung, and they've hung tough. I don't trust them here. I flat out don't trust them. I worry about them running out of gas in the second half and then mailing it in and that being that. Patriots haven't done enough offensively for people to feel real comfortable laying this type of price with New England. But I do lean Pats here, and I lean over as well. Miami's gotten theirs and continues to get theirs, continues to go over the total. It's not like this. The Dolphins' offense is the Giants that have scored 77 points the last 2 weeks. But Miami's moved the football, and the whole Miami's an over team in the sense that Fitzpatrick is not a dink and dunker. Okay, He's going to chuck it downfield. He's going to let his receivers try to make plays. And against New England, the receivers are going to make some plays. The Patriots secondary is going to make some plays too. Wouldn't be surprised if Fitz has a pick or 2 or more in this one, and those can obviously lead to some cheap scores. So lean Patriots, lean over. Haven't bet either one yet.
And Teddy, you bring up the Patriots scores the last 3 years in Week 17. That was 38-3, 26-6, and 35-14 the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not laying down in Week 17, and they have something to play for this year. So
you can go back further than that. I mean, they've had some scuffles. I remember the one year they lost at home to Buffalo in Week 17, and of course that was the year they ended up beating the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. But by and large, the Week 17s, even going back, 34-20, 28-0, 49-21. 38-7. I'm just looking back, it's consistent success and consistent execution for New England in these Week 17 games. It's a strong enough track record that it's a one-way game for me, especially given Miami off that feel-good win.
Yeah, and Teddy, a handicapping question for you here. Is these kinds of things, Week 17 performance, I guess head coach, quarterback, just team overall, is that stuff, in your opinion, that's already worked into the line?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so Week 17, that could be a kind of an advantage for sports bettors, in your opinion.
The stuff that's worked into the line is the team's season this year, their current form, and the injuries, and who's resting or sitting or starting, or that's all worked into the line. When you're talking about, hey, this coach takes Week 17 seriously, and look at the track record. Not a big adjustment for that.
Even though, in my opinion, it should be a big adjustment.
Preaching to the choir over here, brother.
All right, good stuff there, Teddy. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4 up next. Green Bay at Detroit. We're seeing Packers laying doubles here, Teddy. Looks like Sports Memo odds showing anywhere between 12 and 13, depending where we're shopping. 43.5 the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, I love that preaching to the choir. Yeah, I'm already a believer, brother. Look, the markets haven't found anyone to take Detroit in recent weeks. There's no Lions money. There was no Lions money last week. There's no Lions money this week. And if you watch Detroit play down the stretch, you can fully understand why. And of course, Patricia's coming back. So there's no let's win one for the coach or anything like that. We'll be interested to see how the Falcons perform this weekend now that Quinn's coming back again. But I haven't seen anything that gives me any interest in putting a penny of my money on the Detroit Lions in Week 17. Okay, it's a bad team in their finale of a crappy season with a backup quarterback who's not very good, no running game, and a defense that's run out of steam. So the alternative to Detroit, of course, is now you get to lay close to 2 touchdowns on the road with a Packers team that is coming off their biggest win of the year and hasn't been really winning by margin and isn't necessarily built to win by margin. And you're laying a premium for it. For me, this is one of the easier passes on the board. I did very little with this game. I wanted no part of Detroit, and I knew that I wasn't going to lay this inflated price with Green Bay. So it's, total wise, I didn't see anything. Sidewise, I didn't see anything. This is a quick and easy pass for this better.
Teddy, we got the LA Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs up next. AFC West battle here. 45.5 the total in Arrowhead. And it looks like the Chiefs laying 9, at least in Vegas right now.
Yeah, I did a video on this game. You can check that out on the Sportsman and Wager Talk YouTube pages. I did a video on this game just yesterday. And, to summarize, there are issues on both sides. I know this, okay? The Chargers are not a team I want in Week 17. I don't like the way but at the same time, look, it's been a dismal season for the Chargers. Let's not forget, they went into Arrowhead last year, were smacked around by Kansas City, and then rallied back in the last 2 or 3 minutes. I think it was an onside kick recovery. They stole a game and stole it. Literally by a point. I remember I cashed a ticket on the Chargers in that game. They were wrong side, and I got my money. And they ended up winning the game straight up. It's a loss the Chiefs remember. Kansas City, there's still, in theory, an urgency to win when you talk about seeding for the Chiefs. I don't believe seeding is ever a motivator. And the markets are saying, oh, look, the seeding. They're worried about the seeding, and it's getting bet up, 8.5, 9. I'm a Chiefs believer, okay? Absolutely. The defensive, we talked a lot about their defense in recent weeks, how good their defense has been down the stretch and how, the pass rush has made up for some of their deficiencies in the secondary. But that defense has come together over the course of the last 6 weeks or so. The offense is good as any in the NFL. I understand Baltimore is the team with the home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC. I look at Kansas City as a team to beat in the AFC, not the Chiefs, not the Ravens. So recognize when I'm saying I'm not excited about laying this price with Kansas City. It's a team that I have the utmost of respect for, and a team that I expect to win the AFC. And that if KC goes to Baltimore, I'll be on KC in that game. You don't need to buy the play. They're catching points in Baltimore. I'll be on the Chiefs for whatever it's worth. I assume so. Whatever. You don't want to make predictions about what's going to happen 3 weeks from now, and who knows. But I would expect to be on the Chiefs, and I'm a Kansas City believer moving forward. But you're laying a premium here for a Chiefs team against a divisional foe that has shown they can hang. And the Chargers have no home field edge. Therefore, when they go on the road, they tend to offer point spread value because their power rating is a little bit lower. I much prefer to bet against LA in LA. Than I do in this point spread range in the highway. But all that said, Chiefs are the class here. I could only look at the Kansas City side of the equation. Price isn't right, so I didn't get to the window.
All right, Chiefs -9. That's what Teddy's leaning towards here. Plus the fact, Chiefs, it's like the team to beat, according to Teddy. I like it, Teddy, stepping out on a limb. Barring any huge fundamental changes with that, of course. Won't lock them into that. But Teddy, 127, 128 up next. Arizona, LA Rams here. Limited marketplace, obviously, with question marks at the quarterback position. Not really seeing much. Circa showing actually a 4 for the Rams at home, 45 the total. I don't know how accurate that is, though, Teddy. You want to skip this one?
Yeah, there's nothing on this game. Okay. I think Circa has a line, but when you're literally like one line, there's nothing to gauge against it. No one's betting into it or betting against it. We don't know if Murray's going to play. I think it would be foolish to play Murray this week. I would expect to see Hundley. And I've lost money with Brett Hundley before. I'm not willing to lose money with Brett Hundley again. He's a big drop-off from Kyler.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he had a nice drive last week where he made, 3 or 4 plays with his feet and completed a couple of really short passes. He's capable of doing that. Of course, no one's going to want the Rams here. The markets will not be excited about L.A., regardless of who plays quarterback for Arizona. The Rams at the tail end of a very disappointing campaign, a team that won the Super Bowl last year. Here they're playing their finale. A team coming off of a game in which they fought to the wire and came up short. I can't lay points with the Rams this week, and I don't want Brett Hundley. And and the other thing is that even if Murray plays, he hasn't practiced all week, he hasn't done anything all week. He's not going to be 100%.
Right.
It's an easy pass for me. I got my win with Arizona last week in Seattle. That was pretty easy. And I'm going to leave that in my pocket and not risk it back in this one. But if I had to play I know I can't lay with the Rams. It's an Arizona or pass type of game. I just don't want my money on Brett Hundley.
And Teddy, from what you've seen in the past with situations like this, drop off at quarterback, and really, what if there's just a question mark all the way up till kickoff? When will sportsbooks open this, or will they just not?
So no, we'll see. We'll see lines in the next 24 hours. I expect we'll see something tomorrow. I'm surprised. Okay. Usually Friday morning when the game is circled all week. But week 17 is a different animal, and they're not. There's less concern to have every game available for betting earlier this week than there are most weeks. Okay. So I mean, we'll see. Every book's going to have a line on this game at some point. But establishing what the market is on this game is not an easy one, and I'm curious about it. Yeah, I'm curious as to where the number goes and to when it comes up. I can't give you an accurate time. It's going to come up at exactly this time, but one book will post and another book will post, and then everyone else will copy, and that'll be that. But it'll happen at some point between now and kickoff. I would assume if it didn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow morning.
And Teddy, we got San Francisco at Seattle up next. It looks like the Seahawks are actually catching 3.5, depending where you're shopping. An important one to shop around, guys. Looks like juice on the 3 at some shops, and there is a 3.5, especially in Las Vegas. The South Point, one of the books showing that. We're seeing 46.5 or 47 being the total in this one, Teddy.
Whew. I mean, this is a game that's going to attract a ton of betting attention. I'll tell you right now, on a Friday morning as we record, there's not a chance I can bet this game one way or the other because Seattle's injury report. And again, I bet against the Seahawks last week because they were missing 6 defensive starters. And they were laying at the time 9.5. And I'm like, you can't be laying 9.5 when you're minus 6 defensive starters coming off the type of game that you just played. But now with Seattle, there's all kinds of issues where we don't know who's going or not. And does it make a difference if Shaq Griffin plays or not? It makes a huge difference. Does it make a difference if Quandre Diggs plays or not? Yes. I remember I went through all these players with you last week.
Yeah, we did.
Like, this guy matters and that guy matters, and Jadeveon Clowney matters. Dwayne Brown matters, and they're all still maybe questionable. It's not like the Niners don't have injuries. The Niners are banged up too. I do think San Fran is the better of these two teams. I do think the upside for the 49ers is Super Bowl. I don't think the upside for Seattle is Super Bowl. So I believe in the concept of San Fran being favored here and all of that. But 3.5? That's a little bit rich for my blood. But I want to know who's playing for Seattle and who isn't, because that's going to tell us how seriously the Seahawks are taking the game. And so this is one where, I'll be watching the inactive list on Sunday, but before Sunday, I apologize. I know a lot of people are interested in betting this game. You want to bet with full info, and this is a game where we don't have full info yet, not even close. So, I won't be laying with San Fran, even though I believe the 49ers are the better of the two teams. The price isn't right. It's not. So my only question is Seattle or pass, and it's if everybody plays for the Seahawks and I'm still catching 3.5, maybe I'll be interested. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. Probably one to watch, but not a great one to bet on.
And that's the Sunday nighter. We got one game left here, guys, on the Every Game on the Board podcast. And the coupon code for this section is Teddy25. That's TEDDY. Teddy25 is the coupon code for 25% off anything site-wide. You can get a daily play from Teddy or any handicapper, rest of the season, 1 year all access, anything on the site, sportsmemo.com, 25% off using the coupon code Teddy25 at checkout. And in the NFL, there's not many better than Teddy. Since 2015, that's the last 5 years, he's 203 and 158. That's 56% over the last 5 years in the NFL. Also, guys, college football bowls last 5 years, 33 and 23. That's 59% in the bowl season. So check out his bowl games as well. He's got a couple of them up at sportsmemo.com, and he's got his 5% big ticket. We talked about it earlier. Check it out, sportsmemo.com. You can get 25% off using the coupon code Teddy25 at checkout, sportsmemo.com. 131-132 up next, Teddy. Afternoon kick here. Oakland in their last game, or possibly, most likely their last game as the Oakland Raiders at the Denver Broncos. We got the Broncos 3.5, a mile high, 41 the total here, Teddy.
I mean, the Raiders are still alive to make the playoffs. All they have to do is win. Baltimore's got to win. They're dogs. Houston's got to win. They're dogs. Indy's got to win. They're favorites.
So they need some things to happen here. So most likely their last game, but
there were 10. They needed 10 things to happen, and 5 of them happened last week.
Okay.
And again, the Ravens are 2-point dogs to the Steelers. It's not inconceivable for Baltimore to win that game. Houston is the 3.5-point dogs to Tennessee. It's not inconceivable for them to win that game. And Indy's playing Jacksonville. It's not inconceivable for them to win that game. And it's not inconceivable for the Raiders to beat the Broncos in Denver.
Teddy, I can hit a 14 parlay this weekend as well. That's not inconceivable.
Exactly. They're going in this game thinking they're live. That's the key. Okay. And if it turns out in the third quarter they look up and, whatever, the Ravens are down by 4 touchdowns, or, the Texans are getting clocked by the Titans, and there may be a different story in game. And that, of course, is a concern for Week 17. If stuff happens in game, Houston, Tennessee is a prime example of that. I'm fascinated to see what O'Brien's going to do in that game, especially if there's a scenario in which if Kansas City wins early, there's one early game that does have implications. But if KC wins early, that's going to change how Bill O'Brien looks at Tennessee in that contest. So the point is there's a lot of moving parts during the day on Sunday, okay?
Okay.
And bettors need to be aware of that. With Oakland, Denver, Carr does not have a good track record in cold weather. In fact, I was reading an article in the Mercury, whatever it is, I forget the last name, but the Mercury paper, where you find a lot of Oakland local beat writer news. And they're talking about Carr, and the concern is Carr in cold weather has been bad, and Carr coming off a great game in L.A. against the Chargers last week. He's dealing with one of the weakest receiving corps in the NFL. The offensive line hasn't been great. Obviously, the running back position with Jacobs. What's the latest on Jacobs? Is he going to go this? I wasn't under the impression that he was any chance of him going, but he's upgraded to questionable. Some injuries on the offensive line for Oakland to deal with as well that bettors need to be aware of. Denver has a defense that's played hard. They have a first-year head coach. They're not going to quit Week 17. Drew Lock certainly shown signs, and impressive signs. There's enough at a lock to like Denver, but in terms of laying a price with the Broncos, no, I'm not looking to do that. It'd be Oakland or pass. And the market's been all over the Raiders all week. This line's been bet 4.5, 5 at the open, and now it's 3.5 and some threes out there. And I think the move is warranted. But again, I'm rarely going to take 3.5 in a game that I could have had 4.5 and dawdled. And I feel like I love Oakland this week, and I don't trust Carr necessarily in cold weather. And I'm not in a giant rush to step in front of Denver. But if I had to play the game, it would be Oakland. I don't have to play the game, and I won't.
All right. Teddy covers. Great stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Teddy_covers. And guys, the coupon code Teddy25. That's Teddy25. 25% off anything site-wide. Sportsmemo.com. Daily play, full season, 1 year all access, all of it. 25% off using the coupon code Teddy25 at checkout. That's good in through New Year's Eve. We'll keep that active. Sportsmemo.com. Teddy, anything else you want to throw out before we shut this down?
I'm just excited about coming back on Monday, man. We get to talk playoffs.
Absolutely.
Playoff opening line reports are fun, man. We get to do those all through January. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully looking forward to a rock-solid weekend. Let's make some money, guys. Build those bankrolls to close out 2019. Good luck. Enjoy the games. And Drew and I will be back on Monday.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Teddy. Come back and join us Monday morning. NFL opening line report, sportsmemo.com. Teddy, thanks for the time. Best of luck. Guys out there, best of luck with your weekend, all your bets. Stay safe, and we'll talk on Monday.